It's Lam from Sofia, Bulgaria. Hope you're all well. Just thought I'd share sort of a remarkable story with you, going with this footage of London, where I've been hanging out for a while recently. Anyway, the story is about Bulgaria and my life there because that's where most of my life still plays out. So I've been living in this building where I'm currently at for about a year or three, and it's one of the nicer buildings in the area, if not the nicest. Means we have security as well, security guard. Two guys, one guy a couple days, one guy another few days, you know. And interestingly, one of the guys sort of, it seems, or at least I've recently had a proof, had a crush on me since quite a while. So I work from home essentially. That means that I don't really go to the office. We don't have an office, you know. So the guy, he sees me walk out to go for coffee, to go for lunch, and that's it. Other than that, I'm basically home, you know. And I'm openly gay, there's no secret about that. So every now and then I have guys coming over, sometimes more often than other times. I have dates basically whenever I want, and they're always nice guys, good looking guys. So eventually the security guard, he catches his eye and he sort of starts playing around with me. Eventually, he's always been sort of annoying. Like when I pass through the door, he says, "Hey, where are you going? Blah, blah, blah." And typically, I just either answer something polite or just walk on because I have my earbuds in typically, and I don't like to spend my time doing small talk. But I'm polite, and it takes a lot to trigger my nerves, or my anger takes a lot. But this guy eventually managed. So he started asking, "Hey, who are all these guys? And why are there no girls? You know, you should start a family, find a nice Bulgarian girl." You know, all of this for foreigners might sound very intrusive, but keep in mind, Bulgarians are sometimes a little more nosy, especially if they're above the age of 50. And this guy, keep in mind, is something like 65. I don't know. I think that's his security work as a sort of addition to his pension, or he doesn't have a pension, I have no idea. But it's not a bad guy, friendly, but far too intrusive, and that's also why I let it come this far without stopping him. So, you know, he asked where are the girls, so and so, which I just said, "Listen, there's no girls because I'm gay, you know, deal with it." And he said, "Oh, interesting," and so on and so forth. "What do your parents think of this?" And I said, "Well, I'm Dutch, they don't care, they love me regardless, you know, if I'm a good person, that's all they care about." And he said, "Are you sure? Because I would be quite convinced that your father deeply down thinks otherwise." And he started lecturing me on how it is sort of wrong to be gay. And it's sort of, I said, "Yeah, whatever, man. You have a nice day." Still, I'm not pissed off. I'm fairly tolerant, even of other opinions, you know. I don't care that much. I just move on with my day. Eventually, what this guy thinks, or at least how I reconstruct it to have gone in his thought process, is he thinks I'm sitting at home, I'm doing nothing, and all these guys come over, you know, not every day, but coincidentally whenever he's there, and there's some hot guy passing by my place, and he starts putting one and one together and thinks I'm giving my services, you know, and that's basically how I make my living and affording to live in this nice area. But that's obviously not true because I work from home, I have a full-time job. But in his mind, he's 65, he doesn't realize that people work from home nowadays, are the lucky ones, and he thinks that that is my profession, the oldest profession in the world, which it's clearly not. But you know, so one time I get back home from the gym, and what happens is this. Guy follows me down my hallway. I didn't greet him at the entrance, just walk in, and he says, "Hey, can you blow my whistle?" Something like that, in, you know, these terms. And I was sort of surprised, and I said, "Listen, man, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're making a mistake here." That's what I said. And I move on with my day again, you know. And in the meantime, just FYI, I have switched to footage of Belgium. This is southern Belgium, the French-speaking region. Anyway, going on with the story. So I move on with my day. Eventually, I think it was even the same day I went out again, and I came back. And the guy is suddenly waiting for me, and he starts talking to me. I was listening to a podcast, and I hate if people just interrupt me when I'm going about my business. So he starts speaking like, oh, there was a mistake. I think you misunderstood me. That was not what I was meaning to say. Something went wrong. It's because you don't understand Bulgarian. You misunderstood my question. So, I already forgot about the whole thing because I don't really care. I just have a lot of stuff to do. But then he triggered me at this point because I needed to take off my earbuds, start engaging with this man, which I never wanted from day one that I came to live here. And then I got triggered in a sense and started, listen, you old man, I'm paying to live here. I pay a lot of money to live in this building, and all I'm paying you to do is to sit here and watch the cameras and keep this building safe. And that's all I want you to do. You don't talk to me ever again unless it's anything about this building. Do you understand? And don't give me this shit about me not understanding Bulgarian. I very much understood your question. You made a grave mistake. I never want to hear such thing from you again. And if you give me any more, I'll make sure that you'll be removed from this post. I very well make you be expelled from this position. And that's what I said. And he said, okay, I'm sorry. Eventually he said, listen, but it was clear they had some suppressed desire. Many men have, or not many, some men have. And in this generation, it was not common to act upon that because he's from a generation where it was not tolerated at all. By the way, I'm switching to footage of Sweden and Denmark now as we speak. And then he sort of broke down in the sense he started saying, listen, I suspect my son is gay. He lives in Prague. He left our family because he wanted to live in a more tolerant society and so and so. And I said, okay, well, good for him to get out of this place. That's what I said. And it was clear that this man himself had some suppressed emotions because he deeply expected his son was gay, like his very son who lives in Prague, and he never came to terms with that. And it's just this whole clusterfuck of emotions. And then he has some desires himself, which in his life he has never acted upon, and he couldn't. And actually felt sort of sorry for him because he's not an evil man. And the next time he came to check the meter or something, and he saw my computer, and that's when he actually put one and one together, and he thought, oh, this guy works remotely. He's a businessman. He is not offering services. And that's when he realized his mistake, and he never ever bothered me again. Now I'll tell you this, which is also quite remarkable and funny. The guy obviously didn't go to this initiative directly of asking me to blow the whistle. He, gave me hints before. I typically wear a trekking suit when I wear nice gym outfits, like I do, a bit revealing at the backside. It looks quite nice, and when I walk out the door, he sees it every time, bumping up and down the stairs. He probably liked that, which I can appreciate, but eventually what happened is he said, oh, you wear nice outfits and this and that. And one trick he tried to pull, it was a very strange one. I think he had it going in his mind, like he must have thought about it for a long time. What happened is this. He said, listen, I need to get a bad tooth pulled, and I'm terrified of the dentist. I cannot lay in that chair. Can I please lay in your bed and get the, how do you call it again? It's not a tranquilizer, obviously, but what do you call it? What a sort of needle that makes you go numb, Can we administer that in your bed? Can the dentist come administer that in your bed? And then we go to his practice and we do the actual tooth operation. And I said, listen, I'm busy. I thought it was a very strange request. I said, listen, I'm busy, we'll just see when the time comes, And that was sort of a thing that he tricky pulled to end up in my bed or something. I don't even know. I don't even understand anymore. But this just goes to show that I've been fairly nice and tolerant, and it takes a lot to sort of pull me over the edge of starting to yell. And at that point I was actually yelling to this guy when he stopped me one more time, from listening to my podcast, interrupting my day. And after that whole the sexual thing, I got really, really pulled over the edge, and I was thinking, I pay so much to live here. Just leave me alone, that's all I want. I don't want you here in the first place. I don't think we need security guard, so I just tolerate it as part of my expenses. I don't want it, but now that you're here, you might as well do a good job. And don't bother me, don't bother me. And the other thing is, they both drink on the job as well. They both drink. Sometimes they're drunk. One time he even put a shot of vodka in my cappuccino when I came walking in. Pissed me off as well because I don't drink. He just poured some vodka into my cappuccino. I walked back. I bought a new one. Even that didn't trigger me enough to start a huge argument here. I'm just fairly nice, I guess. And in a sort of sense, it has a charm. It's the typical Balkan drama and humanity in all its brightest colors, so it doesn't piss me off. But I have my limits, and at some point they were reached. Anyway, I thought it was just a remarkable story. I have 1,000 of those stories. They just never end. I don't talk about my personal life often, but when I talk to my friends, they often say, why do you always have this strange stuff happening? That's only you. I've never ever heard such stuff from anybody else, but I have 1,000 of those stories I can tell you about. Just, this is a quirky one. Okay, anyway, take care. Bye-bye.